Hi there! Here's another complete practice speaking test from Prep Scholar. Just like on the actual TOEFL, there will be 6 questions, and you'll be asked to speak a response to each one. Record your answer on your computer or phone, or just speak aloud. Good luck!
What do you think about those changes to graduation?
I think it's a great idea. The only people who ever show up for graduation are the seniors and a few professors, so it's a pretty small crowd.
I know.
So if they make these changes, more people will show up at graduation, and I think that will make the students who are graduating feel a lot better. There will be more of, an audience. There might be thousands of people watching them graduate. That will make them feel proud.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the university will benefit too.
Why?
Well, you know my sister Alice, right? She told me that her university did something really similar a few years ago.
Okay, so.
It went really well. Lots of people from the area came to the graduation, and a lot of the local high school students were so impressed that they applied to the university. So enrollment went way up.
Wow, that's impressive.
All right, so the first kind of intelligence, you've heard all about that, yeah? You probably have a good sense of how good you are at solving puzzles. Maybe some of you have taken an IQ test. So if I ask you to explain what cognitive intelligence is, you could probably explain it. But this kind of intelligence, emotional intelligence, it's completely different. Let me give you an example from everyday life. Anytime you have lots of people socializing, like at a party, that's a good place to notice emotional intelligence. So, last week, I was at a dinner party with some friends. Mainly other professors. But my brother was in town, so I brought him too. Now, my brother, he didn't do really well in math classes when we were in school, things like that, but he really liked being around other people. And everyone at the party really enjoyed talking with him. But the woman hosting the party, she was really quiet. Now, nobody really noticed that, except my brother. He could see she was sad about something. Well, afterwards he asked her, and it turned out her cat was really sick and she was worried about that. So my brother talked with her, asked about her cat, and so on. And by the end of the party, she felt much better. Now, what was he doing there? Well, he was noticing a problem, an emotional problem, and providing a kind of solution to that problem. Now, just because it's not an abstract math problem, that doesn't mean it's not an equally important and difficult problem. So that just shows you that there's this totally different kind of intelligence, emotional intelligence, and my brother really demonstrated it at this party.
Hi, Samantha. What's wrong?
Well, I'm just worried about what to do. I was just accepted into the Student Honor Society because I got good grades last semester, and you see,
That doesn't sound like something to be worried about.
well, it's great to get into the Honor Society, and there's even an official lunch for new members that they've invited me to, and I'm really happy about that. But here's the problem. I've got an exam for sociology that begins during the last hour of the lunch.
I get it. So you're saying that the end of the lunch overlaps with the beginning of the exam?
Yeah, that's the problem.
But those lunches always end a bit early. You know, people have dessert and they start chatting with one another. Everything important happens at the beginning of the lunch. I'm sure they won't mind if you leave a little early. Just explain that you have an exam to take and ask to leave a little early. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm not sure. I don't want to seem rude by leaving the lunch early.
Okay, well, have you talked to your sociology professor?
Dr. Middleton? No.
Maybe you can reschedule the exam.
Yeah, that's possible. She does let students reschedule exams sometimes, but it's always for some time on the weekend. So I'd be spending my weekend taking a sociology exam, which I don't really want to do.
Yeah, not so fun.
So you see, I can't figure out what to do. In order for a piece of music to say something, to express an emotion or an idea, it needs to use a variety of compositional choices to communicate. In fact, it is primarily the compositional choices in a work, things like its instrumentation, tempo, key, and how these elements are combined that let the audience get something from the work. Composers of music make these choices to create pieces with powerful feelings and ideas. Consider how a composer might use instruments, for example. As you're all aware, different instruments can create different feelings and are appropriate to use in different pieces of music. A composer chooses instruments in order to communicate a particular message or feeling. Trumpets, for example, are bold instruments and can be used to convey powerful feelings like pride or boastfulness or even sorrow. The flute, on the other hand, is considered a less dramatic instrument. Using flutes tends to lighten the tone of a piece of music. Another important compositional choice is tempo. By tempo, I just mean how fast the work is played, how quickly or how slowly the piece is played. You might know, in some pieces of music, the tempo is constant. It stays the same throughout the whole piece. But in most pieces of music, the tempo is variable. It changes. The tempo might be slow at the beginning of the piece, then fast, then slow again at the end. A fast tempo can create feelings of joy and excitement, while a slow tempo generally suggests a feeling of calmness and peace, or sometimes sadness. As I pointed out, composers can combine these choices to set the feeling of a work. Consider a piece of music that, for example, uses many bold instruments like trumpets and violins, as well as a fast tempo, a hurried tempo, throughout the entire piece. So that combination of choices will create a much bolder, more fierce series of emotions in the audience than, for example, a piece with a very slow tempo and light or quiet instruments. So composers use these compositional choices to affect the feelings of the audience.
You've completed our practice test. Well done. At Prep Scholar, we want to help as many students as possible to do their best on the TOEFL. So we have developed a new kind of TOEFL course. Try it now at TOEFL.PrepScholar.com. Remember, your TOEFL score can take you anywhere, and Prep Scholar can help.